everybody. Well, it's morning for me when I am filming this. But just wanted to do a get ready with me to get prepared for the day. I have to basically get everything done and set up for my full day at the beginning of the day. I'm going to just take you through my getting ready routine, a little bit of my routine, so you can have an idea of maybe there'll be some helpful things for you, and just to help you get yourself set up as well and set up for the morning. All right. I also definitely try to stay hydrated throughout the day because that helps you keep your energy up. And I have found these electrolyte drink mixes that are so good. They're actually pretty good. I haven't tried every single flavor, but I've tried a few and they've been really nice. So today I'm going to do tropical punch. And okay, once you mix it up, it's I just use my straw to stir it around. But I also had this in a shake the other day, and it basically made it taste like a nice tropical, like citrusy, tropical type of shake too. So you don't have to just do it in water. You can do it in other things too. That's what I've tried it in. All right, so first of all, I have a social and emotional refreshment station. So I call it a creativity and warmth station, place to refuel and refresh for creative minds. So basically, we'll have warm drinks like hot chocolate, maybe teas. I haven't gotten any teas currently. You know, like relaxing teas sometimes, maybe chamomile, different things like that. But as you can see, students would be able to basically get an idea of what this is all about. And then I also have rules for the station and instructions for the station. And now, so I got some of our Honor Society students, seniors from the previous year who set up this, like the instructions, made it really easy and understandable, and then I was able to, of course, put it together. So hopefully, this is always, of course, I don't rely on the students actually remembering all of this. I do actually have them. I go over this with them, but this is the station. I have a Ninja, which of course I have student helpers who fill up the water, and then they have cups, which you'll see. I'm going to check this morning because because of I allow them to use this after they get set up. And then I have also a refrigerator. That is something that I have. I got these are, of course, these are really great. I got these on DonorsChoose. So I got these because in art we do a lot of different things, including like cake decorating, things like that. So this helped make sure when I was doing cakes that they stayed at the proper, the frostings, the fondant, everything was at the proper temperature. So that was, of course, and I did demonstrations for the students. So that's what also this was for. And then also I have water here so the students can access water when they need to. So I teach high school. So some of the things that I'm using and that you'll see, you'll probably be able to use it for high school, but then you could also maybe also use it like the creativity station, the wellness, social emotional learning station. You could definitely probably use for middle school. For middle school, you'll have to basically give them a parcel out different ways of using it. But what I have found is that students really do get calmer when they're using it, when they're having their warm drinks, drinking the cold water, more so with the hot chocolate. Even though you may say, oh, it's late summer, they still really want it. So so for middle school, you could use it. Elementary, probably not as much. They probably would need smaller cups, but speaking of cups, I'm gonna go check on those too now. So here are my cups. Again, I don't leave these out just for classroom management's sake, because they'll end up we'll have random cups all over the place. And of course no one will know how they got to where they got to. So I keep them here in a cabinet, and then the students will get, come up, a couple of students at a time, and they'll get their drinks. I even got the, cup holders so they won't burn themselves, holding it. But I have enough cups. I probably will need to go ahead and do another order soon, because it's slightly running low. Slightly, but I do have another sleeve in there. All right. Of course, if I am running out of something, when I do my checks, then I can put it on a little ongoing list and make sure that I get what I need and get that together. I also have sugar for the students. I don't take it all the way out because if, of course, as I'm sure you know, just for classroom management, I allow them to get a few at a time, because if they see a whole pile, of course, they'll try to get a whole pile. So that is here, though. So I still have enough. Okay, and here are some Lysol wipes that I also got. So, of course, this helps for cleanup of art supplies, but also gives cleanup for all of the spills that may happen at the social, emotional, the creative and warmth station. Of course, during this, the late summer, it's also the cooling station when they get water. But this keeps that together. So I'm just making sure that everything is here. I have enough here, so that's perfect. Now I have all of my slides. They've been done. This is like a slide deck that I've built over a great amount of time. So that's why you see tons and tons of slides on this side. I'm going to be working to kind of consolidate it and give a better, just make it more concise. And I'm sure some of you may even have some ideas that you use, but this is the way I have set mine up, because I can easily access them. Sometimes I may do more focused studies with a particular class for an opening assignment or for a main work period. So I'll give them a particular slide. It always won't be a full slide for the whole class, but the day before, to try to give myself something that I've already, taken care of. I already have put the date, because seconds count, minutes count when you're trying to prep for things. And of course, I'm sure, as most of you may have, you have to have your learning targets. Some of you may not have to have all of that exactly, or maybe it's phrased differently, but we have to have the learning targets for the day. So this is what I include, and then I list out my classes. And so the students would have already completed textures on a hand. They did that pretty well. So I'm going to now go to my my Canvas portal, which I already have loaded with all of the opening assignments that I basically have done. Sometimes I'll do different things based on if the class, I feel like the class needs more focus in some way. But most of the time I won't, because I've taught the class quite a few times. Okay, so I have students who are working on some hourglasses, or finishing up hourglasses that they started. So I'm making sure all the compasses are together. Now, I don't particularly love these compasses because they don't lock as well. Or lock at all, basically. But they're sturdy. And so they do require the students to kind of hold it, and then, so it does build hand dexterity to a point. But I just check them over to make sure I have them available, making sure that the pencils are, pretty sharp and everything. The students usually do pretty good at making sure that they finish them and that they sharpen them properly at the end. But I just want to make sure they're there and they're available and ready to go. So my students are going to do some large still lives, like surreal still lives, where they're going to use some large papers. So I got these 24-inch rulers. So I'm going to be placing them so they can easily access them. They can definitely come up and get those types of items, because the smaller rulers, like these, tend to not, they're not quite able to make the connection yet of sliding them over for the bigger paper. So with the bigger rulers, it makes it easier. So I'm just making sure those are laid out, they're there. And of course, I will remind them to put them, back over here as well. When I am getting ready in the morning for my classes, I'm mentally going through my classes, basically, or sometimes I write them down. And especially if there are some really intricate parts of the lesson that I need to make sure I include. So right now, I've basically prepped for my Comprehensive 1 class. In my next class that I'm going to prep for is Drawing and Painting 1, one of the upper level classes. And then I'm going to prep for my Graphics 1. But I actually will probably prep for Graphics 1 first, because they're getting ready to do like an actual vinyl cover that they've designed. So I need to make sure that like the Cricut machine is ready. It's got the vinyl, got the settings on it. Several of the students have sent me their files. One of the students has sent me his file. So I'm going to start just making sure that I have that ready, so when we go through the process that he's understanding it. Because as for high school, I want to make sure that the students know what's going on, or what's basically what is taking place in terms of their work, so that they can basically become more autonomous in doing it as well. So they're not, solely relying on me for step by step, because then they're going to be building on this knowledge that I give them. So I want to make sure that they understand this part, so then they can easily start making connections to the next part, or the next unit basically that they're going to be studying. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so now I am just double checking the Cricut Maker is working to prepare for that Graphics 1 studio project. Now, for some reason, I had already activated this machine, but it was saying it wasn't activated, so I'm reactivating it. So I'm doing a test with it. So now, just pressing play. So hopefully it should do what it needs to do. Okay, now it's stalled out. Let's check on it. Oh, sounds like we hear movement. Okay, great. So it looks like it's working. Well, I'm glad it did the test, even though was pretty sure this had already been done, but it hadn't apparently been done before. So, all right, so it printed it out. So all you'd have to do, of course, because this is on its smart vinyl, and smart vinyl means you don't really need the cutting, the mat. So this works perfectly well. It's got a few little smudges. So watch your fingers, dear people. But as you can see, the Cricut is ready to use. So ready for the student. Okay, so I'm just showing you now on my Comprehensive 1 class. I got the supplies ready. Now I'm making sure that their opening assignment is ready, and what they're going to do during the work period on their studio project, and then of course closing But the main thing is they're going to be focusing on 3D forms. So still trying to build up their skills. So as I said, times, minutes matter, because before I know it or knew it, you know, my planning time was basically almost done after checking the Cricut and making sure I had everything for graphics one. And then I've got to squeeze in drawing and painting ones set up, which is pretty much already done. But here you can see 2D to 3D forms. They had already done it before I recorded a demonstration of myself doing it. So that's another thing. When you do one demonstration, it's good to record it, because then you can have it uploaded and give it to the students. Again, it's good for students after they've done the work, and then also going forward. So then you're not having to re-demonstrate, especially if you're teaching multiple classes in a period. You can work directly with one class while another class basically focuses on their opening assignment from a demonstration that you've already created. All right, time is ticking. Okay, with seconds to spare. Oh, you can tell, seconds to spare. My classes are done. Now I'm going to run to the restroom. I did my drawing and painting one class. It was a little bit easier because I already posted something last week. So there is like a 2-part they're doing this week, and then we're continuing with their project that they were working on. So it's really good. Moral of this story is to make sure you have everything set up so it makes it easier for you to prep on the day. All right, talk to you later.